air conditioning will not turn off. Shut up, air conditioning! You're watching the Joe Sonus review of Currents, the third studio album from psychedelic rock band Tame Impala. To be honest, this is the first time I've ever heard of Tame Impala, but I'm loving what I'm hearing. So although Tame Impala is technically a band and they play together live, the lead singer Kevin Parker is the real mastermind behind this music. At least in the Lonerism days, hence the name, he wrote, recorded, and performed all this music in isolation. Inner Speaker was their debut album, but they really took off popularity-wise with their sophomore album, Lonerism, and for good reason. There were some great licks on it, like Be Above It, Feels Like We Only Go Backwards, and Music to Walk Home By. And these albums are loosely concept albums. They each have an overlying theme, and each song is about a subject related to that theme. The theme of Lonerism was, like I said, being alone with your thoughts and dealing with being an introvert, whereas Currents is about life and how it's like a current and you have to swim through the water. He manages to achieve music that's enjoyable on the surface level, but contains a lot more if you dig deeper. And they also managed to strike a perfect balance between the sounds on Lonerism and the new territory explored here on Currents, which is the perfect place for a follow-up album to be in. We've got a lot of peaceful tracks here with a lot of bliss-filled, relaxing synth pop sound effects that you can just zone out to. And I don't know, something about Kevin Parker's smooth vocals drowned in reverb is very soothing to me. The track Cause I'm a Man immediately caught my attention with its catchy, very full sounding background synth, its rhythmic drums that you can really groove to, and lyrics about how he doesn't mean some of the things he does in a relationship. It's one of the ones I'll be coming back to. It gets stuck in my head in a good way, and it's one of my favorites on the album. With this record, Kevin really focuses on the electronic, experimental side of things. Instead of on Lonerism, where there were a lot of guitar riffs and more of an acoustic sound, we've got tracks like Gossip, Let It Happen, and Reality in Motion, where there are some very interesting synth experimentation. Gossip is the shortest track on here, clocking in at 55 seconds, and is mostly electronic driven with some guitar thrown in there. And on the track Nangs, there were some interesting things done with the pitch bend on the synth sound. The track Yes I'm Changing is probably my favorite lyrically, about how changing is a natural process of life and it's what everyone does. No one ever just stays the same. The song Let It Happen really sums up what this album is all about. It's about how sometimes you can't change what happens to you in life, and sometimes you just have to let it happen.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to let it happen, like your sister interrupting your thing.
And there's almost no guitar in that song at all, but all sorts of experimental synth sounds and melodies. It's the longest song on here at 7 minutes and 48 seconds long, but Parker manages to keep the track interesting enough to justify that length. The track Eventually is one of the most interesting dynamic songs on here, with some hard-hitting synth and drums mixed in with some lighter, more dreamier sounds, and lyrics about recovering from a breakup. I would, however, have liked to see a little bit more diversity with some of these songs. Some of them kind of sound repetitive, like the tracks The Moment and Love/Paranoia, which were alright with their rhythmic synth, but unremarkable. But the track Past Life was probably my least favorite. It's the opposite problem. They went a little bit too far with the experimentation, with that kind of synthetically low voice that I didn't really care for. But the album overall is great, and although it can drag on a little bit, the good moments on this record definitely outnumber the not so good ones. Even though I do think Lonerism is better, I am very satisfied with this follow-up record. I would give this album an 80%. See you later.